This sports segment of the Suburban Radio Hour is brought to you by the Montreal Tundra. Get your tickets at mtltundra.com.
Welcome back, Montreal. Beryl Wiseman, editor of the Suburban, here on the Suburban Radio Hour with my friends and colleagues, Anthony Bonaparte, features editor, Mark Lidbetter, sports editor, Mike Cohen with everything you need to know about entertainment and society. And now I'm turning it over to Mark. And Mark, you've got an Olympian with you.
Not just an Olympian, but Jacqueline Simoneau from Saint Laurent is going to be a 3-time Olympian.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about how she got back to this because she was off from competing for 2 years. So, Jacqueline, it's great to have you. Thanks for taking the time. And how are we going?
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Well, listen now, you know, back in Doha, you had a really great competition. You snapped the drought of medals for Canada. You took the silver in the solo technical event, and then you followed that up with the gold in the free routine. Now, obviously, you're concentrated on your deck work, to your performance, but when you came out at the end, did you feel you'd really done well and you had nailed it?
Oh, definitely. I felt taking that very last breath there that I did everything that I possibly could in that given moment. I gave everything. I increased the journey difficulty. And at that moment, I could not have done anything more. So whether that would have been a gold, the silver, or last place, I would have been happy no matter what. But hey, it brought home the gold for Canada. So that was just the cherry on top.
Now, also, you competed in the duet discipline with Audrey Lamothe, is it, from Montreal?
Correct, yes.
Now, you two haven't been together that long, so you did quite well because you have also qualified for the duet discipline in Paris. So do you feel that you've meshed quickly and that you can only get stronger heading towards the games?
Oh, absolutely. Having only worked together for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months at most before these world championships and coming 5th in the world after working together for such short time and other pairs being working together for over a decade, I am really looking forward to what we're going to be able to accomplish in Paris. Looking forward. Audrey is one of the most hardworking athletes I've ever seen throughout my career. And she pushes me every day, just like I hope I push her every day to become the best athletes that we could possibly be for Canada. And I'm hoping we'll be able to make Canada proud at these Olympics.
Now, the thing is that you accomplished all this after a 2-year hiatus because you were pursuing your degree in podiatric medicine, and you returned to full-time training. Now, was that always the plan, or what prompted the decision? And what was the hardest part getting back into the rigors of training for you?
Yeah, so actually after the Tokyo Olympics, my plan was to always retire. I got into my dream program, becoming a podiatrist, becoming a doctor, helping people. This has always been one of my lifelong dreams. And you know what? I was giving a camp during one of my spring weeks from school in South Africa. I was helping out their Olympic duet there. And I realized that I still had the physical capacity to do the sport. I was a couple of pounds overweight for the sport, but it was fine. I was still able to do the technique. It's like riding a bike. So then I really looked into the process of what it would take to be able to get back. And there was a little bit of a lag. Doping control, you have to make sure you pass an X amount of doping tests, which, don't dope as athletes, as you know. We have to go through a rigorous doping control process to make sure that our sport is clean. And come mid-November, that's when I got the green light to really come back into training full time. So throughout that process, I was still in school, training a little bit, helping out, consulting in some other countries, and then back into full force training. And what really came back in the decision, yes, was that one camp in South Africa, knowing that I could still do it, but also the fact that our sport changed quite a bit since I last left it. The judging system has tremendously changed. Now it objectifies our sport a little bit more. Whereas before, yes, the judges do have a very trained eye, but now there's numerical values associated to our routine. So degrees of difficulty, much like in figure skating, if you have a difficult routine and you execute it properly, well, you will get the scores for it. And this is the first time in our sport that we've ever seen this. And so I jumped at the opportunity to be able to try it.
Now, also, this makes you a 3-time Olympian, as I said earlier. What does that mean to you? Are you pinching yourself in a sense, or?
Oh, I certainly am. In our sport, especially in Canada, there has never been a 3-time Olympian in the sport of artistic swimming. There's been 2-time Olympians, but never a 3-time Olympian. And that's just because I believe our sport is just so physically demanding. It's a full-time job, truly, training 40 to 60 hours a week. It's a huge time commitment. And for some, it can be very challenging to be able to balance other life commitments around that. But I still have a love and a passion for the sport, and I'd love to give back and show the next generation that it is indeed possible to balance your passions, whether it be sport, education, or work, around what you love to do in sport as well.
Well, on that topic, I mean, you weren't just busy enough with your training and competing, but you've had a chance to be active in the Olympic movement away from the pool. And you're also been very busy doing camps and mentoring young athletes. And now the Montreal Games are coming up. You've been involved as the spokesperson for artistic swimming, but you're also going to be now the spokesperson for the Montreal Games. Now, why are all these things important to you?
I think it's tremendously important to me because I'm forever grateful for all the tools that sport has brought me throughout my career. It's not only bringing me tools to become a stronger athlete, but to become a better person, more equipped for everyday life. Yes, in sport you learn how to have a good work ethic, but these things are translatable into everyday life. Communication skills, time management, all of these things, whether you work at a law firm in marketing or just at a restaurant, anything that you do in life, these skills are transferable. And I'd love to be able to inspire kids to be able to soak up all these tools from sport and transmit that into something that they're also equally as passionate in.
Well, following the Olympics, I guess it'll be back to hitting the books, and the next time I'll get to call you Dr. Simoneau.
I certainly hope so. Yes, back to school in September, and I really am looking forward to it.
Well, Jacqueline, I want to thank you for taking the time to do the interview. I know how busy your schedule is, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And of course, we'll be watching the games in Paris, and we want to see you up on that podium, you along with your partner, because you're going to get stronger. So just really keep at it, and it's great to have had a chance to speak with you today. Thanks
so much, Mark.
Take care.
Great story, Mark, and we wish her luck. Loyola's girls basketball made some history this week.
That's right, because after 125 years of boys only, Loyola High School is now co-ed, and the Bantam girls basketball team wrote a page in the history books by becoming the first girls team to win a championship banner following their 44-11 win over École Secondaire Maimonides, and that was on their home hardwood of the freshly renovated Loyola gym. And the team's also going to be noted as having a perfect season. They did not have one setback. But what's interesting is the squad was formed around a trio of players, team captain Jillian Mueller and twin sisters Audrina and Gabriella Arcorici, that brought basketball acumen to the mix. But all the other members of the team were talented athletes in other sports, and they relied on their athletic skills to adapt to a new sport, and they certainly did. They were quick studies. So congratulations to them.
Great story. Loyola went co-ed a year ago or 2 years ago?
This was the first year. They have 46 girls in secondary one, and from there they'll add.
Got it.
So, what I'd like to talk to is Golf Quebec and the Aleo Foundation teed up some bursaries for 30 student athletes, totaling $90,000 to help them pursue their sport and academic goals. And among the recipients was a quintet of local golfers that'll benefit from the program, and they each received a $2,000 award. You had Mount Royal's Alexandra Botsis, 16 years old. She plays out of the Rosemere Fontainebleau Golf Club. And she's a 3-time recipient. You had Charlotte Boudreau, 16, from Verdun. She also earned her 3rd scholarship, and she plays out of the Island of Montreal Golf Club. There were a pair of golfers from Pointe Claire. They picked up their first Golf Quebec scholarships, and both play out of the Beaconsfield Golf Club. They were Claire Hugh, 15 years old, and Oscar Ricketts, only 14. You also had Ilbazard's Julianne Yuck, 14, who plays out of the Elm Ridge Golf Club, and she had her first Golf Quebec Aleo Foundation scholarship. So good on them.
And Mark, what have you got coming up for next week?
Next week, I'm going to be checking out some hockey playoffs. They're underway. But I'm also going to have a feature on what Alouette Marc-Antoine Ducoy and some fellow CFL players were doing for the World Vision Program, not here, but over in the Philippines.
Thank you, Mark Ledbetter. Thank you, Montreal, for listening. We're back with you next Sunday night, Suburban News Hour. Just want to sign off with a few notes. Look for stories this coming week on the budget and how it's going to affect you. Record $11 billion deficit. Of course, Mr. Legault says it's not really $11 billion. It's not really a record when you take it in percentage to the GDP. But the GDP, we have been in recession for 2 quarters. So I'm not sure what that means. We're going to have more on the tax revolt. 1 in 5 households are living in energy poverty in Quebec, in a place that prides itself on having more and cheaper energy than anywhere else. Look for those and other stories this week. And also have a read of our editorial, which asks all of you to help your local municipal politicians that want to go and attack the Aglo agreement and are thinking of taking an action and putting a trust account in order where they will pay your taxes, where 12% of Montreal residents pay 38% of the expenses, and you get no say. This is Beryl Wiseman for Anthony Bonaparte, Mike Cohen, Mark Ledbetter, signing off on the radio, on the Suburban Radio Hour. See you next week.
This sports segment of the Suburban Radio Hour was brought to you by the Montreal Tundra. Get your tickets at mtltundra.com.